So for the last few days, I've been playing Warzone on controller. Couple reasons really. I just wanted to try something a bit different, challenge myself and maybe actually get better on the sticks, because I haven't really dedicated any serious time to controllers since Halo 3, and before that it was GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64. And there was only one analog stick on that thing, so maybe not the best place to start. But I bought one of the Xbox Elite Series 2 controllers, plugged that in, configured it to my liking, got some neat little tension things on the analog sticks and on the triggers. But it's also got 4 paddles at the back. And what this allows you to do in a game like Warzone when you play on controller is never have to take your thumbs off the analog stick. So that means that you are always in a position where you can move and fire at someone. And the button mapping on the paddles is pretty simple. The left one crouches, the right one jumps. And that means that I don't have to press the A and B buttons at all. So if I'm in a gunfight with someone, this is Call of Duty, I can now jump up and down and shoot at the same time while still being able to track the target. And it started off pretty bad, but today I felt like I got to a point where I was like, all right, I'm starting to feel a bit more comfortable now. It feels a bit more natural. And I played some games with Stod and Tactical Brit. Now, Tactical Brit always uses controller. He's a very good controller player, console kid. Stod's in pretty much the same position as me. Haven't used a controller for ages. But we were all using controllers, and we queued up for Mini Royale on Verdansk, and we won 8 games in a row. Don't take this as a brag or anything, because it's not that at all. I just thought that it was quite interesting, because this is a completely different experience to how it is when we use a mouse. It was quite enjoyable really, pretty casual. I didn't really try hard that much, and we managed to get that many wins in a row. It was good fun, and it felt like Warzone when it first launched. But again, quite a stark contrast to when we play on PC. I don't know if any of you guys remember this, if you were watching my Warzone videos well over a year ago now. I think it was about April or May last year. There was a website that you could go on, and it actually showed you how many players in the lobby were on PC, how many were on controller or console. And I did a big breakdown back then where I queued up for a load of games and pretty much confirmed that when you have a mouse, you're playing against maybe 50 or 60% PC players. The majority of the lobby will be a mouse. But if all of you are controller, it's something like 90% controller players. But the second you introduce a mouse, you're going to be up against lots of PC players. It's important to say as well that all 3 of us in these lobbies were playing on PC with a controller. And even though we're in majority console lobbies who are using a controller, so we'll be playing against PS4s, Xbox Ones, maybe even a couple of PS5s and Series X's, but it's still input based, which means we've got a huge advantage here, right? We've got maximum field of view at 120, we've got 200 frames per second, so the game looks smoother, there's less input lag, it's more responsive, 240 Hz monitors. The majority of PC players will be using a headset with good surround sound. The majority of console players will be playing on a TV, so they won't have that pinpoint audio accuracy. And we can change the graphics settings to get better visibility. And that's a clear advantage. Is it fair? I don't think so. This is something that I've talked about in a big video that I did in the past about how PC players with a controller have huge advantages over console players, yet the matchmaking is still heavily weighted towards whatever input you're using. I think it's a really interesting discussion though, and because of things like crossplay, this must be an absolute headache for Raven Infinity Ward in terms of balancing at times. And as I've been practicing and I've started to get better with the controller, I think that that advantage is bigger than I initially thought. And keep in mind that I'm not even a good controller player. But it was fun playing in these games as I was starting to learn the controller a bit more, getting used to it, what I can and can't do versus what I could do on a mouse. Because I'm finding situations where I'm like, okay, I've got the game sense, I know what I would do here, and if I was on mouse, I would just execute on that straight away. But because I'm playing on controller and I'm still learning it, I feel like my skills on it let me down sometimes. I should be doing this, but because I'm not quite there yet, I don't think I can. I don't have the confidence to effectively pull off that play, if you get what I mean. But that will improve over time. But one thing I've realized with the aim assist is that it's all about movement. And let me demonstrate, because as soon as I realized this, my performance on controller massively increased. Okay, so I've jumped in game here with Stod, and there's no typical snap aim assist in this game like there was in other Call of Duty games. You see I'm aiming and the crosshair isn't snapping to him. But this game does have what's called magnetism, or some people call it that. And basically, if you're near a character, like you see how I'm moving here, I don't have my thumb on the right analog stick at the moment, and my camera and my gun is actually turning to face towards Stod because the game is detecting that there's a player there. So again, I don't have my thumb on the right stick here. I'm literally just strafing left or right. Now Stod, if you start strafing left and right as well. Nothing, right? But the second that I start moving as well, you see that magnetism, it kicks in. Again, don't have my thumb on the right stick here. This is literally the game turning my camera for me. So I'm going to stop moving. Nothing. I start moving and it starts sticking again. So how does this look with sniper rifles then? Well, Stod, if you start strafing left and right, you can see that that magnetism that I had before isn't there. But again, the second that I start strafing, my camera starts to turn and follow. So it's all about movement. If you're moving and they're moving, the effect of the aim assist is much more profound. So here we see again, I'm just demonstrating the rotation as I'm in hipfire mode. But even if you aim down the sight, when I move across Stod, you can see that there is a bit of magnetism and it actually slows the speed of my character down. Again, I don't have my thumb on the right analog stick here. This is just the game magnetizing towards that character. And I'm not talking about the sensitivity slowing down here. This is actively rotating my camera. Now here's an example where Stod's going to run around the corner and I'm not going to move, and you'll see that my crosshair doesn't move at all. So go ahead, Stod. Notice how there's no camera rotation there. So if you go back, Stod, this time I'm going to start strafing a little bit and you'll see how my crosshair moves and follows him a bit. Okay, go, Stod. See that little movement there? Okay, go. Again, that little camera rotation just pulling to the left. So it's all about, are you moving? Are they moving? And that's when it makes the biggest difference. This is a good demonstration of it here. I'm just ADS, not moving. I'm not getting that magnetism. But then I start to move as Stod moves as well, and you'll see it stiff. I mean, here it's even following the vertical movement as well as the horizontal. It's bumping my crosshair up and down. Not doing anything with the right stick here, it's just doing it itself. And I'm sure this might be a familiar scene if you've seen kill cams that look like this, where it seems like you're just being glued onto. This is what's happening. You're moving, they're moving. That's when it's the strongest. Even at extreme distances, you can see this on the snipers. So I'm not moving. We're not getting any pull there at all. The camera isn't rotating. But then the second that I start strafing left and right, notice how the camera starts to rotate to the left and right as well. I don't have my thumb on the right stick. It's just doing that itself. You don't notice it as much with the snipers, but the effect is there and you can feel that magnetism when you play. And remember, if you're aiming down the sight, whether that's with a red dot or a sniper rifle, you've got to be moving as well for it to kick in. So yeah, just a little tip. If you haven't realized that, try it. When you ADS and shoot at someone, just strafe a little bit and the aim assist will be stronger. It's that simple. As I mentioned, it's definitely improved my gunfights and I'm winning a lot more now that I'm doing that. Maybe you just do it subconsciously already. Fantastic. And as far as I know, there isn't a ADS movement penalty in this game, so it shouldn't be affecting your accuracy or your recoil. So there it is. Yeah, just really interesting experience for me, to be honest, going from a full PC lobby to playing in full console controller lobbies. It was night and day. It's like a completely different game, and I'm definitely going to be playing more on controller in the future as I practice, get better. Maybe one day I'll just switch to it full time. We'll have to wait and see. With that said, that's all for today, folks. Thank you for watching. Do let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you to everyone using my code in the COD store. You're all absolute legends, and if you do use it, tweet me a pic and I'll put you in a video like this one. Let me know your controller tips down in the comments below as well. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you didn't, a dislike. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.
Stay sharp.